I hope you're still joyful. We're in Tanzania today because, as I was telling you, my guest today came from Tanzania. I don't know if she's from Tanzania, but you're gonna have to figure it out when she talks. Please, young lady, introduce yourself to all my listeners.
Hello, my name is Leah Fenimore. I'm not from Tanzania. I'm actually a born and raised native from Colorado. Right now, I live down south in Manitou Springs, Colorado, hiking around, playing music. However, I did live in Tanzania for a couple years of my life, and so that's what I'm here to talk about today. While I lived in Tanzania, I was very fortunate enough to meet a very kindred spirit and good friend of mine named Kenneth Simbaya. And I'm trying to help him create a brand new fledgling project out in Tanzania that is a water aid and environmental conservation project. So that's what I'm here to talk about today. This project I'm working on is called Pure Water Joy.
Pure Water Joy. We really love joy on this show. So we're going to talk about joy. We're going to talk about purity. We're going to talk about joy. So you're a singer.
I sing a little bit, yes, mostly just for karaoke, but I would like to learn how to do more of it and sing better than I do now. My mom is actually a singer, so I would like to channel her talent some days, but I'm a drummer as well as a piano player, and right now I'm in a drum band in Manitou Springs.
Oh, you play drums?
I do play drums, mostly hand drums.
Oh, I didn't know that. We could have brought a set of drum here today just to play, you know.
Oh, that would have been great. You got to brought a djembe in here or something.
Okay, I'm gonna invite you back here, and we're gonna play some drum. How about that?
Can I bring my band with me?
Yes.
They're better players than I am.
Yes. You can bring your band here.
Oh,
okay,
that sounds fantastic. I hope some of them are listening so they know that we're invited up here.
So tell us, how did you get involved with Pure Water Joy, and why Pure Water Joy? Actually, tell us why Pure Water Joy.
It's kind of a long story, but Pure Water Joy is something I co-created with Simbaya. How I got involved with this is I lived in Tanzania for a while, for all of 2014, and the last half of 2013, or the last few months of 2013, I guess. So 14 months in Tanzania, and at that point I worked in a school called Maguliwa Secondary School, and I met a fellow teacher there, and his name was Simbaya. So Simbaya invited me over Christmas break to visit his village, and he had done that because he and I had just done a project in Maguliwa of planting many, many trees, a lot of them food trees. But there's a huge problem with deforestation in Tanzania, as well as Africa in general, so I wanted to do my part while I was out there to try to ameliorate that issue. And he was really inspired by that, so he wanted me to come to his village to teach them about it as well and plant trees there. So I did, and we had a great tree planting project, but what that evolved into was the residents of this beautiful village, which actually ended up being pretty rural. It took 2 or 3 days to get there in multiple buses. It's right on the kind of the border of Zambia there. So it's called Ndanga is where I went. It's in the Mbeya region of Tanzania. Very rural area. And when I went there, I did see that there was a huge problem with their water source. And they did ask me for help with this. But when I walked around the village, there was no clean water source in this village to be found. They were digging short wells in the ground to collect rainwater, and it was milky white and full of terrible pathogens that would cause cholera, which can cause death if not treated correctly. And they don't have the resources to treat it correctly, unfortunately. There were a lot of other issues as well. When women would leave the village to go to another more permanent water source, they would be attacked. So they asked me for help in this matter, and I agreed to look into it. I didn't really know how to fix that at the time, but I did want to do my part. So what I found was I could hire a company to drill a borehole well in this village, and I raised the funds necessary to do so. So Simbaya and I got this well drilled in his village of Nandanga, and that was about 2.5 years ago. And 2.5 years on, that village has transformed, joyfully wise, which is a theme of this show, health-wise as well. So there's no more cholera in this village. reports and incidences of attacks and rapes of women leaving the village to go get water elsewhere. That has been ameliorated and fixed. There's been more children that have been enrolling in school because now they don't have to travel to find water, and women can spend more time with their families. So a lot of great positive changes happened to this village as a result of bringing fresh water to them. So that inspired Simbaya, and he and I have kept in contact over the past couple of years, but that inspired him to help the rest of his community. So he saw how transformed his village became because of getting clean water, and he wanted to bring that transformation to the rest of the Tanzanian community. So what we have developed over the past couple years is Simbaya would love to buy a borehole drill. We have found that if you have your own drill and you have your own equipment, then drilling wells is actually pretty affordable. So I raised $3,000 to pay this company the first time around to drill this well, but if you had your own drill, it costs less than $500. So that's a very great investment that we think. So if we had our own drill, then he could drill as many wells as possible. So Pure Water Joy is going to be mainly a water aid organization. He's also still very passionate, though, about deforestation and helping the environment out in Tanzania as well. So whenever he goes out to all the villages that need it to drill these wells, which is there's a lot out there, the Mbeya region, to my knowledge, doesn't have any water aid help in the form of other organizations. There's some up north in Tanzania, some over out east on the coast, but on the western area where Mbeya is, where we're working, we're kind of the only ones. So it's a great niche to fill. But while he's drilling those wells, he's also going to be educating about the environment and deforestation and planting trees along the way. In addition, he will also be